there's a WEF report that came, World Economic Forum report that came out in 2020 stating that over half of global GDP is moderately or highly dependent on nature and its services. That includes direct extraction as well as benefits from ecosystem services such as pollination, things like that. While that turns some heads and is rooted in the specific role of value chains and supply chains, we take a more kind of systems level view and systemic view of this, which is that very, very simply and crassly, no nature equals no people, right? And I recall back in my time in Conservation International, there was a campaign called Nature is Speaking. And Harrison Ford was our vice chair, still is. And if you can imagine Harrison's gravelly, deep, stern voice, he would say, nature doesn't need people. People need nature to thrive. And that underpins kind of everything in our philosophy. So how do we reshape our approach? First, I think it comes back to luck again. I'm going to talk about luck a lot in this conversation, Laurie. I mean, we are extremely lucky as humanity. And I think we need to be grateful for our dumb luck to exist in this specific time with a narrow band of natural and climatic conditions that allow us to exist as a species. And we don't take that for granted enough. I mean, it's not that nature is going to, if we destroy nature, the earth is going to be just fine. What we're destroying is our home and the ability for us to live here. It's funny though, because it doesn't require a shift that all of us become, tree huggers frolicking naked in meadows and, become hippies. And I think that's a fear that a lot of people have. Oh, this is going to be a gross transition of how the world works. The pragmatic reality is that for a functioning economic or ecological system, which we as humans live in, both of those, economic system and an ecological system, you can't sustain the system while eroding the fundamental value base. And that's the premise that we live on, is that nature is the fundamental value base or asset base that everything relies on. Everything about humans relies on, humanity, our economy. So I come back to, I guess an adage would be, it's kind of like if you imagine sitting at a table when you're really hungry and you're sitting in a restaurant, a server brings you a plate of food. Every time you take a bite and turn your head away, half of your plate gets removed by the server. And the next time you take a bite, half of what's remaining gets taken away. That's what we're doing with nature right now. You're not going to walk away very satisfied. But with nature and climate and sustainability, there's also a time lag. So it's not actually our plates that we're taking half away from, or the economy is taking half away from. It's our kids' plates and our grandkids' plates. So if we put in that context and kind of think about how do we reshape our relationship with all of this, I think we need to think about the reality that we're undermining by eroding the asset base. We're taking food off the plates quite literally from our kids and our grandkids and the future generations that are coming behind us. And now look, shame's not a great way to change behavior for people, but I think a universal value is that we want our children to be happy and fulfilled and successful and fed. And I think we can come to a general agreement, regardless of where you sit on the political spectrum or economic spectrum, that we should probably keep some food on the table for our kids.